What's up, guys? M. Jones back in the house again for my latest update on movies that I wish that would go Blu-ray. A few rare movies I have for you, like I did last week, and also some TV shows that either haven't gone DVD or Blu-ray that I want to talk about. First I want to talk about are the movies I wish that would go to Blu-ray. First one I'd like to see is a movie from back in like 1994. It was called My Father the Hero. Not real well known. I remember seeing it in the theaters, and I always liked it for some reason. I really liked the beach, so that really attracted my attention. It was with Gerard Depardieu and Katherine Heigl, and everyone else was kind of on the no-name list. Not real well-known actors, more B-list actors. And it was about a Frenchman who had a daughter in New York that takes her kind of for the summer to go to a beach and real beautiful tropical island, and she's going through the typical 15-year-old girl stuff, and he doesn't understand it. And it's about love, and it's about family, it's about reconnecting. Don't want to spoil anything. It's a good movie. I do have the DVD of it, but I'd love to see it in Blu-ray. There's a lot of cool shots of the beach and stuff like that. So I'd like to see that movie. It was very good. And it was a very young Katherine Heigl movie too. Second movie, Son-in-Law. Love that movie. Pauly Shore was so good. I still love the joke. Can I get a screwdriver? He goes, sorry, I'm all out of vodka. Like, I thought that was really funny. And I would love to see that go Blu-ray. I do have the DVD, but I would like to have the Blu-ray. Again, a lot of cool shots in it. Would love to see what the extras look like in the background, like what they're doing. Because you can catch a lot of stuff with the Blu-ray that you probably couldn't catch on DVD. I would love for Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, and When Nature Calls. I would love to see both of them come out. I don't know why they haven't come out. I know it's such a great series, and I know I laughed my ass off in the theater when I was a kid. It's funny to watch that movie now because I understand a lot more than I did when I was like 8 and 10. The things now, I'm like, oh, okay, that's what that means. So it's like, you age, you mature, you understand the jokes that you pretend to laugh at as a kid to be cool, even though you had no clue what you're laughing at. So I'd love to see those go on Blu-ray. I just think it'd look really good in the format of Blu-ray. So I hope, somehow they get Jim Carrey, some kind of deal to get him on Blu-ray format for that. Speaking of a 1 and 2 movie, I'd love this for Mighty Ducks 1, 2, and also 3 to come out on Blu-ray. I'm not really sure why that hasn't come out yet. I've looked it up, and I've seen a lot of blogs and things on the internet that really hasn't said why. I would love to see those just because I love that movie as a kid. I think it would look really good on Blu-ray for all 3 of them. Even though the third one's okay, I was a little bored of that. I mean, Emilio Estevez was hardly in that movie, and he kind of, to me, was the, protagonist, and he was barely in that movie. So I never understood that. Still a decent movie, but the first one's legendary. Second one was really good. Third one was okay. Would love to see Kindergarten Cop go on Blu-ray. Really surprised it hasn't. Arnold Schwarzenegger was excellent in that movie. You really rooted for him. You believe that he could be a teacher because he was silly, and he really taught the kids valuable lessons and had a lot of good analogies of things and would teach all these kids certain things. And those kids were like 4 or 5 years old, and they had to be terrified of him, even though they still acted up. He did take control and did the right things, and it's a great movie. Good feel-good movie. Another movie I'd love to see go Blu-ray, I don't believe it is Blank Check. With that child actor Brian Bonsall, like he was, I think he had a really troubled future after that movie. He had a lot of problems with the law, I believe, with drugs, and I'm not sure what else, but I know he got in trouble a lot. I've even seen his mugshot online. I do know that he had some issues with that, with drugs, but the movie itself is awesome. Because I remember thinking, man, if I got $1 million check, I would buy so much of the stuff that he did buy. Like that go-kart track and that castle and just like the water slide. It's just like that was like my fantasy when I was a kid, like to have all that kind of stuff in my backyard. So that movie, I just would watch that and be like, oh, I wish I was friends with that kid. I think his name was Preston or something like that. But I remember loving that movie, and that was when something, I think Karen Duffy was the girl that he like really liked. She was also in Dumb and Dumber, and she used to be on MTV a lot. You never see much about her. I always kind of thought she was cute. I dug her, but you know, a great movie for a kid that has a big imagination for like adventure parks and fun things to do if you had a whole bunch of money. So that's a great movie that needs to go there. Problem Child 1 and 2, love for that to go Blu-ray. It's probably one of the movies where I would say the sequel was better. I thought the second movie was much better than the first. I love the Cosmo Kramer. Also, you know, Mike Richards was in the first movie. But I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of that. And I thought it was pretty good, but I thought the second one was just more funny. And I always thought it was funny how John Ritter's character's wife in the first movie was the same character in the second movie, but just a different person completely. Like Amy Yazbek was in the first movie, and she was a complete bitch to him. And then in the second movie, she was this real nice nurse with a totally different name. It's like, are you trying to kid me? Or like, I can see this, it's the same person. I don't know. I never bought that. I always thought that was really weird. If you have any questions or comments about that, and you agree with me, please comment, because I always thought that was the strangest thing. But I would love to see that movie on Blu-ray. Would love to see Life as a House go on Blu-ray. Kevin Kline, Kristen Scott Thomas, and Hayden Christensen. Great movie about a strange father to his son that wants to reconnect before he basically dies. He has cancer, and he wants to build a house right on this coast. And the ending is phenomenal. Like right before the credits. I don't want to tell you because it's so good. You know, it's a movie you're like, you know, I'm not going to cry, I'm not going to cry. Okay, I'm going to cry. Like it was one of those movies you just knew it was going to be so good at the end, and it really was. Go see Life as a House. I think it came out around 2001. Love to see Youngblood go out on Blu-ray. Rob Lowe, Patrick Swayze, great hockey movie back in the 80s. You know, basically how they get started, you know, in the minor leagues or just a alternative league to try to make it in the pros. Great movie, very funny. Would love to see a Goofy movie go Blu-ray. I think everyone in my whole group of friends watched that movie 1,000 times. Had the classic Disney VHS cover that would open like that, and it would have the cool sound to it, and it was just the real big VHS tape cover. I just love that. I have a whole collection of those in my parents' house. You know, I think they're so cool. It's very nostalgic. A Goofy movie would be great on Blu-ray. Surprised that hasn't been out yet. Love to see for a slew of Pauly Shore movies that I should have mentioned after Son-in-Law, but I'd love to see In the Army Now and also Encino Man. Both of those movies were so good. Early 90s, just a joy to watch. Like, it was very funny. I always remember Wheeze the Juice from Encino Man. I thought that was hysterical. And Pauly Shore was just so like strange and hippie-like, but he was so cool in Encino Man. And he was just this weird, you know, video guy from In the Army Now. And you know, Andy Dick was really funny in The Army Now. I'd love to see both of those movies make it to a Blu-ray. And, you know, Encino Man was, I think, Sean Astin's real big movie as sort of an adult, because as a kid he was Mikey in The Goonies. So that kind of put him more on the stage, you know, to start being more of an actor as an adult. And then right after that, he was in Rudy. So that really, those 2 years, 92 and 93, really helped Sean Astin as an actor. Would love to see Private Parts go Blu-ray. Really love that movie. Howard Stern's basically biography. I thought it was well acted. Thought it was well written. I was very interested. I was never bored of that movie. I had the DVD, but it doesn't look good in a Blu-ray player. So would love to see that go Blu-ray. And the last movie for this topic would be Bad News Bears. And I would probably hope they would try to sell all three as a trilogy, not counting the one Billy Bob Thornton did. That would be like the fourth one. I don't want that one. I had no interest in that. Because Walter Matthau was one of my favorite actors growing up. So I only strictly think about him when it comes to Bad News Bears. The first movie is legendary as Buttermaker. The second movie, I believe, was either Going to Japan or Breaking Training. I think Going to Japan was the second one. But I would love to have all three of those as a trilogy. I think they'd be great. For my next part, I want to talk about movies that are rare, that I don't think a lot of people know. Both of the movies I want to talk about today, I believe came out as a TV movie. So they weren't ever in theaters, but they were on like a Sunday night, like ABC, NBC, CBS kind of thing. And I don't know how I remember this, but I think both of them were on ABC on a Sunday night. The first one is called Backfield in Motion. It's a 1991 TV movie with Johnny Galecki from Big Bang Theory and Christmas Vacation and Roseanne. And then, of course, the protagonist in that movie is Roseanne Barr herself. And she was the mother of Johnny Galecki, who didn't make the football team or something like that. And she wanted to prove that he could play, so she played for him. I forget the whole plot. I could be screwing that up, and I hope I'm not. But I remember it was like moms versus kids at the end, something like that. But it was such a good movie for the TV, and I really liked it as a kid. And I just remember that just reminded me of my mom. She was real tough like that. Wouldn't take any crap. Would always stick up for her kids. So I love that movie. It's very nostalgic for me because it reminds me of Pee Wee football when I played, and I don't know. I just love that movie. And the second rare movie that I don't think a lot of people know about is Father and Scout. It was with Bob Saget and also the aforementioned Brian Bonsall from Blank Check. A great movie about being in the Scouts and how he's not really popular with kids, Brian Bonsall's character. And his dad's kind of goofy and silly, even though he's nice and has a good heart, but he's too goofy for him and they kind of don't have a good connection. Well, that was... It came out about 1994, and it was such a great movie about reconnecting, a bond they used to have, and a kid being 13 or 14, going through changes with your body, and as a young kid going into a young adult. It was a great movie for that, and I love David Graff's character, Tackleberry from Police Academy. He was the antagonist in that movie, but he turned out to be a pretty good guy. But it's a great movie to check out. And my last part are TV shows that either have not gone on DVD or have not gone on Blu-ray. I would love for Guts from Nickelodeon to come out because I watched that every Sunday night. And I can remember it was at 7 o'clock. I just used to watch that every Sunday night when I come back from playing with friends. And I used to love Guts. It was on Nickelodeon with Mike O'Malley, who I've never liked. I always thought he was so annoying. But also, I liked the show so much I didn't care about him. But I always thought he was just overindulgent upon everything. I just never liked him. And that Yes Dear show, I just hated him in that show. I just think he's one of those guys who just thinks he's so funny and everyone knows who he is, so he just acts goofy right at the start. It's dude, build up to that. Be funny, slowly, and then I'll start, liking you. I just don't like Mike O'Malley. I never have. And his annoying statistician, Mo, that British chick that would always just say random stuff. I didn't like them. I didn't like them, but it was a kind of dislike I had that I had to keep watching. So they did a good job with that. A second show I'd love to see go at least on DVD. It's not even out at all. Is a show from 1995 to 1997 on the WB called Kirk. It was with Kirk Cameron, and he had 3 kids he had to take care of. I think it was he was an older brother, and his parents died or something like that, and they were in New York. It was a great show. It was so funny. My best friend and I used to watch that all the time, and his neighbor her character's name is Elizabeth, and it's actually his wife, Chelsea Noble, in real life, and he always tried to impress her and stuff like that. And he had this real goofy neighbor. I forget his name. He was an Italian guy. He was so funny. And that's a show I'd just love to see be re-released just so I could watch those episodes again because it really was a funny show. And Kirk Cameron was excellent in that, along with Growing Pains. But anyway, I'll probably put out another video like this, that movies that I would love to see go Blu-ray, rare movies that I don't know if you've heard about, and also TV shows that need to go Blu-ray and or DVD. But till next time, can't wait to talk to you again about this. If you have any more ideas, please comment. If you'd love to subscribe, I'd love that myself. But until then, you take it easy, and okay, bye.